vulnerabilities to be exploited.
It is an undeniable fact that the world was much better when the Soviet Union was still around. I mean, dude, I said that. Everyone yelled at me. I said that in an interview that I was doing at the Zoran election victory party, where like, you don't have to agree with the USSR. You don't have to think about the excesses in terms of their own self-governance. But objectively speaking, when there was an alternative vision out there, especially one that did not shy away from pushing back against America during the Cold War, a lot of other countries in the middle, even if they were in the imperial core, were able to keep their gains, keep their benefits. And in the absence of that counter mechanism, in the absence of that counterweight, it is not an accident that we have seen the great explosion of neoliberalism in every Western liberal capitalist country. When capital owners no longer feared the threat of an alternative, the threat of a good example, they did away with all of the safeguards, all of the regulations, first in the United States of America and then elsewhere. All over Europe, you started seeing the same corrosive influence of capital make its way through a period of neoliberalization, the destruction of social safety nets, the destruction of what remains of the regulatory body. The French healthcare system was literally the design of the Communist Party, backed by the USSR. It's thanks to them that we have healthcare for all, and people bash the left here when we have one of the best, or used to have, healthcare systems in the world. It's the same exact situation here in the United States of America, by the way. Obviously, the quality of life or the living standards are different. The currency exchange is different. Having said that, however, the attitude remains. A lot of people don't realize that in the United States of America, if it wasn't for commies, trade unionists, socialists fighting in the streets, dying in the streets, that America would not have any labor laws whatsoever. You wouldn't have the weekend. You would still have child labor. And ironically enough, we still do have child labor in the United States of America. Okay. And not just for undocumented immigrant children. I mean, like straight up, you have child labor in many states that have openly legalized it. Like there are so many excesses under capitalism as well that many people do not understand or recognize, because for the longest time you've existed under the system thinking, well, the alternative is much scarier, is much more dangerous. And in the absence of said alternative, you have this explosion of neoliberalism around the globe. You have the forces of capital taking up more and more, taking up a bigger role in what previously was dealt with by the government. People don't realize that a lot of the things that you take for granted were fought for by your forefathers in the labor movement. All the hate sub clip andies are here. I mean, great. It's fine. You can keep complaining about tankies this, tankies that, but a lot of Europeans benefited without realizing, like all of the social democracy that Europe has, even still to this day, they got because capital had to give in. Capital had to concede to the demands being made. And those demands were made because there was an alternative vision. Once all of that was eroded through Red Scare all around Western liberal nations, Western liberal democracies, you have no competition. You have no ideological competition and full-blown pure capitalism. As living standards erode in Western liberal capitalist nations, people look to blame whoever they can. The point I'm making is that alternative vision must come back. And that alternative vision clearly is not going to be supported by China. Let's be real. For better or for worse, China decided they are not going to wage any sort of ideological war around the world, even if it's beneficial for their immediate interests in their backyard in the South China Sea. They're not going to do that. So if it is a game of sovereignty for a lot of these nations, the only way that you can maintain national sovereignty, especially as America is increasingly doing away with the aesthetics of liberty and freedom, making it seem as though you have a say, is going to be through, and I know normally I say nukes, but it's going to be through serious organizing and an ideological commitment to an alternative vision, giving workers back the power that they deserve. It's not going to happen with like China helping you either.